Howdy do, folks. Welcome to today's reading of Ruby on the Outside. We left off on a very awkward page 65, and I'm going to pick up here at the end of chapter 10. So, away we go. Mine too. And this seems to launch us into a whole other conversation about wrinkly toes and fingers and memories of staying in the bathtub too long. Yvette and Beatrice aren't the least bit interested, but Margaret and I seem to be at no loss for things to add to the infinitely engrossing discussion. To be continued, Margaret says when we get to her door. Hey, let's never say goodbye to each other. Let's always just say, to be continued. To be continued, I answered. Oh, and hey, wouldn't that be a great title for our story, To Be Continued? Because we can keep writing forever, the never-ending story. We can just go on and on. Even Yvette and Beatrice approve. To be continued, I repeat, and I know I have a real best friend. Chapter 11. I almost had a best friend once before, Tevin. I know that's a boy's name because Tevin was a boy, but it was a while ago, like last year when we were still little. Back then you could be friends with a boy, best friends even. He lived in New York City and we met at Bedford Hills. The whole time in line I kept noticing the same boy, taller than me, but I could tell he was about my age, 10. I had been coming to visit my mother for years already, and I could tell he was a newbie. When we got to security, they wouldn't let Tevin come through the metal detector with his miniature action figure. You can't bring in anything, not anything. Sometimes they send you back just because of what you are wearing. Once I saw a woman drive 10 hours just to get turned away because of her shoes. There's a Target right down the road, miss, the corrections officer tried to tell her, but this woman got really angry, and that just got her kicked out completely. Imagine coming all that way to see your mom or sister or whoever she was coming to see and wearing the wrong shoes. No sandals allowed, no tank tops, no short shorts, no backless shirts or dresses. I saw a woman made to change because the neckline of her blouse was too low. And they don't like t-shirts that say bad things or anything they don't like. It's up to them. No use arguing. Arguing is not allowed either. But Tevin wasn't arguing. He just didn't understand what was going on. He had a little Batman toy in his pocket, and they wanted him to put it in the locker before they would let him through. Tevin started crying, right there in line, and that's when I knew for sure this was his first time. On the outside, it would have been pretty bad for a boy to cry in public like that, but in here, we all understand. And no one even looks at you sideways if you're crying. One time or another, everyone on the inside cries. And I know that feeling Tevin was having. You get stuck on one little thing, and all of a sudden it becomes the most important thing you've got, and you don't want anyone to take it away from you. It's like they'd already taken away the most important thing in your whole life, your mom, and then they wanted this too. They wanted this stupid little action figure, or whatever it happened to be. It didn't make sense, but I knew what he was feeling. It's okay, I walked over and told him. Everything stays safe while you are visiting your mom, and then you can get back again when you leave. You can get it back again when you leave. There was a long line behind us, and people were getting a little annoyed, but not too much. That's one thing about Bedford Hills. Everyone is here for the same reason, and everyone here has some heartache and some secret that no one else but someone in here could ever understand. And even though lots of other grown-ups had told him the exact same thing, Tevin just nodded his head at me and he lets me help him. The locker thing is kind of cool. Do you have a quarter? He shook his head no. Here, I've got an extra one. But I didn't, and Matu knew that. But she let me give him my quarter anyway.